The basic idea is, how do you separate yourself from the competition? How do you differentiate so clearly that the marketplace doesn't even see you as being in the same category? How many of you have something that you know you should do in your business? You know you should do it. It's the right thing to do. It's the smart thing to do. You are capable of doing it. It would make things better. And you're not doing it. Is it just me? Anybody else? Can I get a witness? You can look at every great company in the world, and I mean every single one. And when you look at what their starting point is for that greatness, for their ability to not only succeed but sustain success, and you can go down the list. I mean, whether it's Amazon, Southwest Airlines, Apple Computers, Zappos, Procter & Gamble, the really great pizza joint on your block. The starting point for every single one of them is the mindset of their people. If you don't have the right mindset, it's not going to happen. If you do have the right mindset, you can do anything. Along with outside the box thinking, try inside the box thinking. You go back and innovate inside the box, and it could be the greatest return you'll get. Here's what I mean by inside the box: close to the customer. How many of you have ever heard of a company called Zappos.com? Raise your hands. How many of you are customers of Zappos.com? Raise your hands. Okay, so what's so great about them? What do they do that's so great? Somebody raise your hand. Okay, wait, somebody said fast. Who said that? Fast with what? Next day. You place an order. This is a company. Now, remember, we're going to school. How can you take this idea, apply it to your business? You're on the internet placing an order for shoes. You hit send and your doorbell rings. And what it's done is it's created these rabidly loyal customers. What else is unusual about Zappos? What else do they do that's pretty cool stuff? Basically, what we help companies do is get their people and their people's mindset in alignment with their strategy. So everybody's moving in the same direction. And the way we do that is I do a lot of speaking, we do consulting, we do workshops, we help companies with custom videos. There are a lot of ways that we can help companies get that alignment so that they create the results that they want to create. Listen, I'm blessed. I've got some in-house innovation tutors in my home. I've got Jessica and Kate. I'm 58 years old, and I've got an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old. And some of you are thinking, what in the world were you thinking, man? But just like Isaac, the cool thing about Isaac is when he starts getting around and really moving around, he's not going to think there's anything he can't do, is there? Would you agree with me? That's one of the great things about little kids. They don't know what they can't do. Here's my favorite story about little kids being open. It's Ken Robinson's story. Little girl in kindergarten class drawing a picture. I mean, just will not raise her eyes from it. Laser beam focus on it, to the point that the teacher goes, what in the world is she working on over there? Teacher makes her way over to the little girl and says, honey, what are you drawing? Little girl looks up and says, I'm drawing a picture of God. The teacher kind of laughs and says, but honey, nobody knows what God looks like. Little girl says, they will in a couple of minutes. One thing that I know is that adults learn by participating. People want to take part, and I engage the audience. I get the audience really involved. When I first got into my business, I was 10 feet tall and bulletproof. Were you? I tried everything. I was too dumb to know what wouldn't work. And you know what? A lot of it didn't work. But man, a lot of it did. My little business has been very successful. We're very good at what we do. And because of that, I have to remember to say every day, Calloway, if you're successful, that means you know what used to work. You with me? And I'll say it to everybody in this room. I know who I'm talking to. I know how good you are. And if you're successful, that means you know what used to work. Tomorrow's another day, isn't it? How many of you agree that to stay competitive, you've got to be better tomorrow than you were today? Raise your hands. Of course we do. Now, you want to hear a tougher question? What did you do last Wednesday that made you better than you were on Tuesday? And you start thinking, Wednesday, oh man, we were slammed on Wednesday. I don't know. No. But if we all agree that we have to be better tomorrow than we were today, then that's got to be built in. This taking the next step thing, Kevin, is not a project. It's a process, and it never ends. We take it every single day. You know, it's not about copying what great companies do, but there's an old saying that success leaves clues. And when you look at what great companies have in common, there are some patterns. And the cool thing is, they're available to any of us. And it all comes down to this idea of mindset. How do we think about our work? That's the key. And anybody can do it. Anybody can make it work for them. What's up with Les Schwab? Well, let's establish this. They sell pretty much the same thing as all their competition. They sell tires. They're round, they got a hole in the middle, there's good, better, best. Price pretty much the same as everybody else. But then when you look at the little things that they do, the little not rocket science things that get people to say this is an extraordinary company, it's things like this. Now, are you a customer of Les Schwab right now? How many of you are customers of Les Schwab? Raise your hands. Okay, a few of you, a dozen of you. Answer this for me. When you pull your car into a Les Schwab parking lot, what happens? They run to your car. This was not rehearsed. I can do this in front of any audience anywhere. And if there are people, if you are on vacation in the Northwest, in Washington, Oregon, Northern California, if you're in your rental car and you see a Les Schwab store, I want you to say, well, let's see if that thing's really true. Just pull in there and see what happens. And I guarantee you somebody will run to the car. And the thing that I love to imagine is that it didn't happen in some big strategy retreat with the executives. I love to imagine that at the end of the day, one day, they're all standing around the tire store and somebody says, we sell tires. How can we set ourselves apart? And I imagine some 18-year-old kid with grease on his face, and he's standing over there and he says, I don't know. Maybe we could just like run out there or something. Yes! Yes! Maybe you could just run out there or something. That idea, running to the car, one of the most powerful ideas I've ever heard. Throughout our whole conversation, Kevin, over the last few months about this event and what we were going to do with this time, in the back of my mind all the time, and with you, all those emails we sent back and forth, I was always thinking, am I running to the car? Am I running to the car? Am I demonstrating that you are the most important thing in my world right now? You know the poet Maya Angelou? She said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. Mindset, quite simply, is the attitude and the ideas that a person brings to any situation. What we do is we help companies create and develop the mindset in their people that will enable them to create the results that they want. Michelangelo said, the great danger for most of us is not that we will aim too high and miss it. The great danger for most of us is that we'll aim too low and what? Hit it. Aim high. You guys have a great time this week. Thank you so much for having me. Have a great time. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, it boils down to this. If you change your mindset, you change your results.